of a heart-shaped, multicolored logo aimed at promoting inclusion and diversity in soccer.
The 2022 World Cup in Qatar produced the clearest case of FIFA shutting down a player protest. 7 European nations, including England, Germany, the Netherlands, and Wales, had planned for their captains to wear a multicolored armband called One Love, a quiet statement in favor of inclusion and against discrimination. Then, just hours before the opening matches on November 21, 2022, FIFA made its position plain. Any captain who wore the armband would be shown a yellow card the moment he stepped onto the pitch, and further penalties could follow. The federations backed down within the day, saying they could not put their players in that position. England's Harry Kane wore a FIFA-approved armband instead. No captain was ever carded because none went against the order, but the protest itself was effectively silenced before it began.
In their team photo, ahead of kickoff, covering their mouths.
Germany's national team answered FIFA's armband ban with one of the most memorable images of the tournament. Before their opening match against Japan on November 23, 2022, the entire starting 11 posed for the team photo with their hands clamped over their mouths. The message was unmistakable. They felt they were being silenced. The German Federation declared that human rights are non-negotiable and that being denied the armband felt like being muzzled. FIFA confirmed the team would face no punishment for the gesture itself. The German Federation went further, lodging a case with the Court of Arbitration for Sport over the ban, though the challenge did not overturn anything during the tournament. The protest cost the players nothing on the field, but it became a lasting symbol of the standoff.
The Soccer World Cup armband wars have escalated.
The fallout from the armband ban reached well beyond the pitch, into the world of sponsorship. Rewe, one of Germany's largest supermarket chains and a partner of the German Football Federation since 2008, announced on November 22, 2022, that it was ending its association with the team. This was no small gesture from a company with annual sales measured in the tens of billions of euros. Its chief executive, Lionel Souk, said the company stood for diversity, that football was diversity too, and that FIFA's stance was unacceptable to him both as a business leader and as a fan of the game. It was a striking reversal, a major sponsor walking away not because of anything the players did, but because of how football's governing body had treated them. In October 2024, more than 100 professional women footballers put their names to a blunt and very public rebuke of FIFA. The players, 106 of them from 24 countries, signed an open letter to FIFA president Gianni Infantino, objecting to a major sponsorship deal with the Saudi state oil company Aramco, which had been announced earlier that year. The letter did not hold back, calling the partnership a middle finger to women's football, and warning that FIFA might as well pour oil on the pitch and set it alight. The signatories included some of the biggest names in the women's game, among them former United States captain Becky Sauerbrunn and Dutch star Vivianne Miedema. FIFA defended the deal, saying the revenue it brings is reinvested into the women's game. The players faced no penalty, but the deal stood. In 2014, a group of the world's best women footballers brought a case against FIFA at a human rights tribunal. Led by the American star Abby Wambach and backed by more than 60 players from around the world, they argued that staging the 2015 Women's World Cup on artificial turf, while the men always played on natural grass, amounted to unequal treatment. The case named both FIFA and the Canadian organizers. The players eventually withdrew the complaint in January 2015 after being denied a fast-tracked hearing, and the tournament went ahead on turf. There was a sharper edge to the story, too. 3 players said they were warned they might be left off their national teams if they pressed on, and all 3 stepped away from the case. The next Women's World Cup, in 2019, was played on grass. In 2024, one of the world's finest midfielders gave voice to a growing frustration among players over how much football they are asked to play. Speaking in September, Manchester City and Spain star Rodri said the players were close to taking the drastic step of refusing to play, telling reporters that if you asked almost any player, they would say the same thing. He argued that a footballer can perform at the highest level in 40 to 50 matches a season, but that many were now facing 70 or even 80. His comments came as player unions launched formal legal challenges against FIFA over its crowded international calendar and expanded competitions. In a sad twist, Rodri suffered a serious knee injury just days later, underlining the very concern he had raised. The heaviest price of all was paid not by famous players, but by two women who worked inside the World Cup bidding process and chose to speak. Phaedra Almajid, who had worked for the Qatar 2022 bid, and Benita Merciades, a senior figure in Australia's bid, both gave evidence to an official investigation into how host nations were chosen. They had been promised their cooperation would stay confidential. When a summary of the investigation was published in November 2014, both said their identities were effectively exposed. Al-Majid described receiving alarming online messages, aimed even at her children, and was later offered protection by the FBI, saying she would be looking over her shoulder for years. Both women also found their credibility publicly questioned by football's authorities. Their careers in the game were over, and their experience stands as the starkest example of what spucking out can cost. Denmark went into the 2022 World Cup as one of the most outspoken teams of all, and FIFA pushed back. Months before the tournament, the Danish Federation and its kitmaker, Hummel, unveiled deliberately muted jerseys, with the logo and the team's famous markings faded almost to invisibility, plus an all-black shirt that Hummel said stood for mourning. It was a pointed statement about the human cost of the tournament's construction. Denmark then asked FIFA for permission to train in shirts reading "Human Rights for All." In November 2022, FIFA rejected the request, citing its rules against political messages on kit. The federation's chief executive said the team believed the message was universal rather than political, but had to accept FIFA's ruling. It was another clear instance of football's governing body deciding which words its players were allowed to wear. Cristiano Ronaldo reached a milestone in 2025 that no footballer in history had ever touched.
You became a billionaire last week.
A millionaire so many years ago.
In October of that year, the respected Bloomberg Billionaires Index, which tracks the fortunes of the world's wealthiest people, valued his net worth at negative $16.4 billion.
So for me, it's not a big deal.
With that, he became the first footballer ever to join the Billionaire Club, sitting alongside names like Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, and Roger Federer. It was a remarkable achievement for a man still actively playing the game at the age of 40, long past the point where most stars have hung up their boots.
I have opportunity to be and work in the zone that I feel comfortable.
What pushed him over the line was a new contract with the Saudi club Al Nasser, signed earlier that year.
I'm so proud to make this big decision in my life, in football.
Bloomberg estimated he had earned more than $550 million in club wages alone between 2002 and 2023, before his Saudi move sent his income soaring even higher. Ronaldo himself spoke about the moment with quiet pride, saying he had always known it would happen and that he felt prepared for it. For a sport watched by billions, it had taken until 2025 for a single player to reach this extraordinary height. Cristiano Ronaldo's journey to a billion-dollar fortune began in the most humble way imaginable. He grew up in a working-class family on the Portuguese island of Madeira, where his father worked as a kit man and his mother as a cook. Money was tight in the household, and the family's circumstances were modest, but his talent was impossible to miss. As a boy of just 12, he was brought to the Youth Academy of Sporting Lisbon, and the modest fee involved in that early move was around negative £16,500. It is a number worth pausing on. The same person whose worth would one day be measured in billions once changed hands for the price of a second-hand car. From those beginnings, he rose with astonishing speed, making his senior debut as a teenager, scoring twice in one of his earliest league games, and quickly catching the eye of some of the biggest clubs in Europe. Within a year, one of the most famous teams in the world would come calling. The boy worth negative £16,500 was about to become priceless. Cristiano Ronaldo's transfer to Real Madrid in 2009 shattered the record books. He had arrived at Manchester United back in 2003 as a skinny, unproven 18-year-old signed for around £12 million, a record at the time for a teenager in England. 6 dazzling years later, having won 3 league titles, the Champions League, and his first Ballon d'Or, he was ready for the biggest stage of all. Real Madrid paid a fee of around £80 million to bring him to Spain, and at that moment it was the highest sum ever paid for any footballer anywhere on earth. What followed only justified the price. Over 9 seasons in Madrid, he became the club's all-time leading scorer, with a barely believable 450 goals, lifted the Champions League 4 more times, and collected 4 further Ballon d'Or awards. His salary climbed steadily alongside his fame, eventually reaching tens of millions a year and making him one of the best-paid individuals in the entire history of the sport. The record-breaking move was not just a headline, it was the launchpad for the fortune to come. One of the largest single pieces of Cristiano Ronaldo's wealth has nothing to do with his club wages. In 2016, the sportswear giant Nike signed him to what was reported to be a lifetime deal worth around negative $16 billion. It placed him in the rarest of company. Only 2 other athletes in history, the basketball legends Michael Jordan and LeBron James, had ever been given a lifetime agreement by the brand. The reason was simple. Ronaldo was and remains one of the most marketable human beings on the planet. And every time he wore the famous swoosh in front of his enormous audience, the value flowed straight back to the company. Analysts once calculated that in a single year, his posts mentioning the brand generated close to $500 million in media value for Nike, a return that dwarfs what the company pays him. The exact figures have never been officially confirmed, but reports suggest he earns somewhere around $18 to $20 million from the deal every single year. It is the kind of partnership that keeps paying long after the final whistle has blown. Cristiano Ronaldo's move to Saudi Arabia rewrote the limits of what a footballer could earn. At the very end of 2022, after a second spell at Manchester United came to a close, he agreed to join the Saudi club Al Nassr, and the contract instantly became the most valuable in the history of the sport, reportedly worth around $200 million a year once commercial income was included. Then, in June 2025, he signed an extension that was even more staggering. Reports valued the new 2-year deal at more than $400 million and described it as including a 15% ownership stake in the club itself, along with a large signing bonus and performance rewards. Crucially, earnings in Saudi Arabia are tax-free, which means far more of that money stays in his pocket than it ever would have in Europe, where top earners can lose nearly half to tax. This was the deal that finally tipped his personal fortune past $1 billion. At an age when most players have long since retired, Ronaldo was somehow earning more than at any point in his career. Cristiano Ronaldo's wealth stretches far beyond his wages and his sponsors into a business empire built around his own initials. The letters CR7, drawn from his name and his shirt number, have become a brand in their own right. Under that name, he has launched fragrances, underwear, footwear, and clothing lines sold around the world. He has invested in a chain of hotels in partnership with a major Portuguese hotel group, with locations stretching from Lisbon and his native Madeira to Madrid, New York, and Marrakesh. He has opened fitness gyms, a series of hair restoration clinics, and even put his name to a brand of mineral water. There is also a museum on Madeira dedicated to his trophies and his story. The idea behind it all is simple but powerful. Rather than only being paid to advertise other people's products, Ronaldo turned himself into the product. It is the mark of someone thinking well past his playing days, deliberately building income streams designed to outlast his time on the field and keep earning for decades. Part of what makes Cristiano Ronaldo so extraordinarily wealthy is something money cannot directly buy: the biggest audience of any human being alive. He was the first person ever to reach 500 million followers on Instagram, and his total following across all social platforms now runs into the hundreds of millions more, a reach larger than the population of most countries on Earth. This vast audience is itself a fortune-making machine. A single post from Ronaldo can be worth a reported sum approaching $1 million to a sponsor because no other individual can place a product in front of so many eyes at once. It explains why brands compete so fiercely to be associated with him and why his income away from football rivals the enormous salary he earns on it. He has used that platform to promote everything from sportswear to watches to technology brands, each partnership adding another stream to his wealth. In the modern age, attention itself is a kind of currency, and no one on earth holds more of it than Cristiano Ronaldo. In the long rivalry between Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, the race to $1 billion was one contest Ronaldo won clearly. Back in 2020, Forbes reported that Ronaldo had become the first footballer in history to earn negative $16 billion over the course of his career, edging ahead of his great rival. He was only the third athlete ever to reach that mark while still playing, after the golfer Tiger Woods and the boxer Floyd Mayweather, and the very first to do it in a team sport. It is worth being precise here, because two different milestones are often mixed up. That 2020 record was for total career earnings, the money flowing in over a lifetime. The billionaire status he reached in 2025 measured his net worth, the wealth he had actually kept. Ronaldo was the first footballer to do both. Messi, widely regarded as his equal on the pitch, crossed the same career earnings line afterward and reached the billionaire rankings later still. The two men have shared trophies and Ballon d'Or awards for well over a decade, but when it came to becoming football's first billion-dollar name, Ronaldo got there first.
Alright, and if you are a big fan of FIFA, let me know by giving this video a big thumbs up. You love watching the World Cup, you love watching football, let me see those thumbs ups. Okay, so starting off with our first fact. So FIFA, it's actually a French acronym, not an English one. Since it is a French acronym for Fédération Internationale de Football Association, I am terrible in French, so this is where you get the acronym that spells out FIFA. Now, if it was in English, it would be the International Federation of Football Association, IFFA. But it's not that, it's FIFA. So that fact is irrelevant. Okay, on to the next fact. So when was the FIFA World Cup actually founded? Well, it was over 100 years ago actually, in the year 1904. The FIFA headquarters is located in Zurich, Switzerland, and currently there's 211 member nations, all a part of FIFA. Now I mentioned that FIFA as an organization started in 1904, but that wasn't actually the first World Cup. The first World Cup was actually created in the year 1930. But FIFA, being a French acronym, the first World Cup wasn't hosted in France. It wasn't even hosted in Zurich, Switzerland, where the now headquarters are, but it was actually hosted in Uruguay. Yeah, so 1930, Uruguay hosted the first World Cup. And not only were they the first host nation, but Uruguay was also the first nation to win the World Cup. They beat Argentina 4-2 in the finals that year. Now guys, did you know that the FIFA World Cup is the most widely viewed sports event in the entire world? Almost 3.2 billion people worldwide watch the FIFA World Cup. That's approximately 46% of the world's entire population. But these stats are based on the amount of people that watch at least 1 minute of the World Cup. So I wonder what the percentage is for the amount of people that watch every single match of the World Cup. Well, that's kind of impossible because some of the matches go on like the same time, unless you're flipping back and forth from channel to channel. But I know those hardcore fans exist out there. They're watching every single game without fail. Let me know down below in the comments actually if you're one of those people who watch every single game of the World Cup. So of course we are familiar with the fact that every single FIFA World Cup is hosted in a different country. But in addition to that, the country that's hosting the FIFA World Cup is actually automatically qualified to participate in the tournament. So if you're a host nation, like you really want to win or at least get past the first round because like you didn't even have to work to be qualified in the World Cup. So I mean like to lose in the first round is kind of embarrassing. For all you music fans out there, you're gonna love this next fact. So over the past little over 2 decades, music has been a big part of the World Cup, right? And because of that, there's about 6 official music albums that were released to correspond with the FIFA World Cup from the years 1994 to the years 2014. And of course, 2018 has its own set of music, especially that huge track by Jason Derulo, Colors. And in naming those albums, in 1994 there was Gloryland, Music of the World Cup was in 1998, the official album of the 2002 FIFA World Cup was in 2002. Voices from the FIFA World Cup was in 2006. Listen Up, the official 2010 FIFA World Cup album was in 2010. And One Love, One Rhythm was released in 2014. Now going back to the start of FIFA as an organization in 1904, when they just started, there was just 7 nations a part of it. And those nations were France, Belgium, Denmark, the Netherlands, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland. And in case you've got Americans watching, the United States joined FIFA in the year 1913. Now, once upon a time, India actually qualified for the 1950 FIFA World Cup. However, it's an interesting thing, like they qualified for it, however the team withdrew because they didn't allow players to play barefoot. I guess that was a big thing in India. Players are looking towards playing barefoot, but no, when you're on the soccer field, you know, and you get stepped on by cleats, you don't want to be barefoot. Well, I guess India didn't work around that, and India, I don't think, has been qualified for the World Cup since then. Okay guys, so we're almost at the end of this episode. I just got a couple more facts for you guys. Brazil, which is my favorite nation in FIFA, I'm always cheering for them, and if Brazil gets eliminated, I'm going to like Argentina or Spain. But of the entire World Cup history, Brazil has won the most World Cup titles. Now they've won 5 titles from 1930. The country has also participated in every single World Cup that was ever held. However, when the FIFA World Cup in 1950 and the year 2014 was hosted in Brazil, they didn't win any of those. In 1950, they were defeated by Uruguay, and in 2014, they were brutalized by Germany. Now I saved this fact for last because it's one of the most interesting facts that I was wondering about, and I'm sure you were too. How much money is FIFA giving to these players for playing in this tournament? So the prize money that FIFA gives to the winners of the tournament is 35 million. Well, that was in the year 2014, but in 2018, this World Cup, they're gonna be winning $38 million. That's what they're taking home. But I mean, it's crazy because like that's what the winners get, but I mean the runner-ups aren't that far behind, right? The runner-up team gets $28 million this year. So you don't even really have to worry about winning the World Cup. You may just want to come runner-up and you still get a huge payday anyways. But I mean, like, not even just that, because like teams in the first round get paid $8 million. So it's a win-win regardless. Just get to the World Cup and you're getting paid big. Either way, I'm still looking forward to it. It doesn't even matter how much these players are getting paid to play. It's still an awesome and amazing sport to watch. I love the FIFA World Cup. The FIFA World Cup 2022 started on November 20th and is hosted in Qatar. It was inaugurated with an extravagant opening ceremony in Al Bayt Stadium in Qatar, hosted by Oscar-winning actor Morgan Freeman, along with Qatari social media influencer Ghanem Al Mufta, who gave a message of inclusivity followed by a recitation of the Quran. There was also some other performances there, so definitely it was a grand event with 65 matches that were lined up between a total of 32 teams at 8 stadiums in Qatar. The FIFA World Cup 2022 was kicked off in full swing. There are, however, some other facts that I found pretty interesting and surprising. So what's happening, guys? Welcome back to another episode here on FTD Facts. For this one, we're going to be looking at 10 facts about World Cup 2022 in Qatar that I think is going to surprise you. Starting off with fact number 10. It was the first time that a Middle Eastern country hosted the games. Qatar, with a population of 2.8 million people, became the first Gulf Muslim country to hold the FIFA World Cup. Qatar won the World Cup bid back in the year 2010 against the United States, Japan, South Korea, as well as Australia. So of course, this was definitely a big deal for the country of Qatar. It's always a great honor to hold the World Cup games. From there, let's look at fact number 9. Pakistan contributed a lot to FIFA. Although Pakistan is not playing in the World Cup 2022, it has made 2 significant contributions to this year's tournament. The country of Pakistan is responsible for manufacturing roughly 1/3 of the overall quantity of the ball named Al-Rila, which will be used for matches in the World Cup. Forward Sports, which is a company located in Sialkot, Pakistan, has manufactured these balls. And in addition, Pakistan sent 4,500 infantry troops to Doha, the capital city of Qatar, in October for World Cup security. And also, according to Pakistani security official, the deployment is made at the special request of the Qatari government, and the number of troops was demanded by the Qatari authorities, keeping in view the Pakistan Army's relation with Qatar. So yes, although Pakistan wasn't competing in the games, definitely their presence was felt. Fact number 8, let's talk about the Quran recitation. Being a Muslim country, of course, Qatar commenced the opening ceremony with the recitation of the Quran. Surah Hujurat verses were recited by Ghanem Al-Mufta, who is a Qatari influencer. And the verses that he recited were these. O people, we created you from a male and female, and we made you races and tribes so that you might come to know one another. The best among you before Allah is the most righteous. So definitely that was a fitting passage when it came to the overall message of inclusivity at the 2022 FIFA World Cup games. Also, did you know that the Qatari team made history? So if you didn't know, as a host country, Qatar's national football team, well, they automatically qualified for the 2022 World Cup, making it the first time that the team will be playing in the tournament. And Qatar became the first host nation in World Cup history to lose the opening match, and then only the second host to be eliminated from the group stage. So yeah, they definitely made history. It was really exciting, but it was very unfortunate for Qatar as a host country. This is also the first time that the FIFA World Cup games are held in the winter time. So yeah, this is the first time that the World Cup was held in the months of November and December instead of May, June, or July. This is due to the extreme weather conditions in Qatar during the summertime, which would make it like just pretty much impossible for the players to actually play continuously. It would be just so hot and draining. Though Qatar has relatively cooler weather in November and of course December, all 8 stadiums in Qatar are fully and completely air conditioned. So that definitely would ease the players as they play. For fact number 5, Russia was actually banned from these games. The country that hosted the 2018 World Cup has this year, of course, been banned by FIFA from international football competitions in response to Russia sending troops into Ukraine. Now, with Russian team being absent from the games hosted in Qatar, its fans instead had to come to support Russia's ally country, Serbia. Let's also talk about there being no alcohol. So Qatar pretty much changed its policy of selling alcohol to fans just 2 days before the tournament started. That was pretty last minute. And of course, people watch football/soccer and they have a beer and they have some drinks. But although according to BBC, alcohol was set to be served in select areas, despite its sale being strictly controlled in the Muslim country. I guess they didn't want fans getting too out of control in the games. For fact number 3, let's talk a little bit about some controversies. Now, Qatar has been surrounded by many controversy with regards to the World Cup in 2022. Firstly, it has been under public scrutiny after news circulated that around 6,500 migrant workers, including those from Pakistan, Nepal, India, Sri Lanka, as well as Bangladesh, they unfortunately lost their lives in the process of building the stadiums in Qatar. Other than that, Qatar's stance on the LGBT movement has sparked a lot of debate and controversy on international platforms. From there, let's take a look at fact number 2, BBC and the opening ceremony. The British media outlet BBC did not broadcast the opening ceremony. This, of course, was a surprise, It drew a lot of criticism. This is the first time that the BBC has not broadcast an international event happening on such a large scale. The TV host Piers Morgan said this in a tweet. Outrageously disrespectful to Qatar that the BBC didn't broadcast the World Cup opening ceremony and instead put out more virtue signaling guff about how awful it is. If they're that appalled, they should bring home their vast army of employees and spare us this absurd hypocrisy. So definitely, yeah, a lot of people had a whole lot to say about BBC's decision there. And Piers Morgan's voice happened to be the outlet for a lot of people that thought the exact same thing. Now, to end this episode off at fact number 1, this could be the last World Cup for Messi and Ronaldo. Yeah, this is definitely sad news for football/soccer fans globally, because this year's FIFA World Cup is likely going to be the last international tournament played by the football legends and arguably some of the best players in football/soccer history, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. As a tribute to both football players, Louis Vuitton, they shared a photo of both players playing chess for the fans on its Instagram page, which left fans awestruck, and of course it went viral in just a few hours. So we'll see. Both of these football players are great. They have achieved everything. They just need World Cup championships under their belt. So let's see if any one of them are going to do it before they just call it quits and retire from international football playing. When the FIFA World Cup comes around, I'm always hearing girls talking about the hot football players. So I'm making this video specifically for the guys, or for the ladies out there that like looking at ladies. Welcome back to FTD Facts. My name is Leroy Kenton. This is going to be a pretty fun one. It's not necessarily a fact video, but we're taking a look at the hottest wives and girlfriends of the players at the 2018 FIFA World Cup. So let's start off from number 10 all the way down to number 1. First up, we have Katie Goodland, who's with Harry Kane. Katie Goodland is a sports science graduate who met Harry Kane in school. Now, both of them, they got engaged during July of 2017 on a holiday to the Bahamas. Harry Goodland is a striker for the Spurs and England, and he got down on one knee on the beach to ask the question, and then he revealed on Twitter that she said yes. Now I'm introducing Sam Cooke at number 9, who is with Chris Smalling. Sam Cooke was born on November 19, 1985, and she's an England glamour model and a page 3 girl from Manchester. Sam, she's appeared in numerous British magazines, including FHM, Front, Maxim, Loaded, Zoo, as well as Nuts magazines in the UK, as well as several other covers from all around the world. Kimberly Crew is at number 8, and she's with Joe Hart. On June 27, 2015, Joe Hart married Kimberly Crew, his girlfriend of 6 years. And this happened in Florence, Italy, such a romantic place. Joe Hart, he proposed on a holiday in Cabo, Mexico back in the year 2013, while the couple were enjoying a trip on a yacht. Okay, so lucky number 7 is Perry Edwards. Perry Edwards is with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, and in February of 2017, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain of Arsenal football team was confirmed to be dating singer Perry Edwards of the girl group Little Mix. And since it's very common for pop divas to write up breakup songs telling all the secrets of their past relationships, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has told the paparazzi that he is super terrified that he might be the one at the center of a breakup song. So yeah, he's on good behavior. Paige Million comes in at number 6, and she's with Raheem Sterling. The Manchester City and England football player Raheem Sterling met Paige Million as a teenager. Sterling asked Paige to marry him in March of this year, 2018, and they are planning to get married next year. They celebrated the arrival of their son Tiago last year. And it's so cute. They got a nice, cute little family just starting. I'm so happy for them. Okay, so we're halfway in this list, and in at number 5 comes Antonella Roccuzzo, and she's with Lionel Messi. Messi and Antonella have known each other since childhood. Now, they met when she was only 5 years old, and she was Messi's closest friend's cousin. They started their relationship in the year 2008, and the couple now have 2 children, Thiago and Matteo Messi. Coming down to the bottom of this list, we have Pilar Rubio, who's with Sergio Ramos. Sergio Ramos, he started a relationship with this journalist presenter, Pilar Rubio, in the year 2012, in the month of September to be exact. Pilar Rubio Fernandez, she was born on 17th of March in 1978, and she's a Spanish reporter and TV presenter. And together the couple have 3 sons. Okay, so we entered the top 3, the hottest wives and girlfriends. And I'm like so scared to like offend anybody. Doesn't mean the other ones aren't like good looking. I just mean like these were the top 3. Okay? Melissa Sada is at number 3, and she's with Kevin Prince Boateng. Melissa Sada, she's one of the most popular women in the football world, and she's also one of the sexiest football WAGs, wives and girlfriends. She's an Italian-American TV presenter, and she got married to the German football player Kevin Prince Boateng in the year 2016. Okay guys, so we finally made it. We're to the final 2 now. Let's take a look. As most of you could imagine, Georgina Rodriguez, who's with Cristiano Ronaldo, is on this list. She's at number 2. Georgina Rodriguez has been hitting the headlines after she and her boyfriend Cristiano Ronaldo went public with their relationship. Georgina grew up in Jaca, which is a city which is located in northeastern Spain, and she is just smoking hot. Hit that like button on this video if you agree. So we just saw some fantastic, amazing, and beautiful and awesome women. But who's at number 1? So the number 1 position had to have gone to, of course, my future wife, although she's taken, so that's not gonna happen, but it went to Shakira. Shakira, she started a relationship with the Spanish football player Gerard Piqué of the FC Barcelona and the Spanish national team back in the year 2011. Piqué, who's exactly 10 years younger, first met Shakira in the spring of 2010 when Piqué appeared in the music video for Shakira's song Waka Waka, This Time for Africa. And that was the official song of the 2010 FIFA World Cup. The 2018 FIFA World Cup season is here, and now it's a perfect time to look back at the tournament's most celebrated players. So I'm going to be counting down from number 5 down to number 1, and starting off at number 5 we have Pelé. Pelé played for Brazil, and he scored 12 goals in 14 matches, and that's an average of 0.86 goals per game. Pelé started his professional career at Santos and spent most of his career there. During his career, he had scored 619 goals in 638 games for the 8-time Campeonato Brasileiro Serie A champions, as well as he had 1,281 total goals over his entire career. Next up, we have the amazing striker Just Fontaine. Now, Just Fontaine, he played for France, and he scored 13 goals in just 6 matches, and that's an average of 2.17 goals per game. Just Fontaine, he holds a record of scoring most goals in a single World Cup game, 13 goals in the 1958 World Cup. Holy crap. He scored 30 goals during his entire career for the French national team. Moving on now to number 3, we have Gerd Müller. Gerd Müller, he played for West Germany, and he scored 14 goals in 13 World Cup matches, and that's an average of 1.08 goals per game. Gerd Müller started his career on the TSV 1861 Nordlingen German team, where he scored 51 goals in just 1 season, and that broke all kinds of records. Now, this earned him a spot on the Bayern Munich team, where he scored another record-breaking 398 Bundesliga goals in 453 games. And because of this, he was the highest ever goal scorer in the Bundesliga German league history. Okay, so next up we have Ronaldo. Not to be confused with Cristiano Ronaldo, who plays for Portugal. But Ronaldo, he played for the Brazil's national team, and he scored 15 goals in 19 matches, and that's an average of 0.79 goals scored per game. Ronaldo appeared in 3 World Cups and scored 15 goals in just 19 matches, as I just mentioned. So he's a 3-time FIFA Player of the Year, and he moved to Barcelona, where he scored 34 goals in 37 games. But due to problems over over his contract negotiations at Barcelona, he had to leave Barcelona after just one season. He then moved to Inter Milan, where he won the FIFA Club Footballer of the Year award during the 1997-1998 season. Ronaldo then moved to Real Madrid in 2002, where he won 2 La Liga titles. Ronaldo scored 62 goals in 98 games for Brazil's national team, and he was a Golden Boot winner in the 2006 World Cup. Okay guys, one more player to talk about, and that is Miroslav Klose. Miroslav Klose, he played for Germany, and he scored 16 goals in 24 matches, and that's an average of 0.67 goals per game. And this is why the former Germany and Bayern Munich legend Miroslav Klose tops this list. He holds the record for the most goals in World Cup history. He broke the record in the World Cup 2014, previously held by Brazil's Ronaldo, who scored 15 goals in 19 games. Born in Poland, Miroslav Klose moved to Germany when he was 8 years old, and then he started his professional career at FC 08 Hamburg. And Miroslav Klose is the record-holding goal scorer for Germany and had 71 goals in 137 games for his entire career, playing for the German national team. Okay guys, so that concludes this episode of the top goal scorers playing at the FIFA World Cup games in all of the history.